Welcome to Podheim, Jiroc's Valheim podcast. Let's give him the business.
Hey everybody, today is July 19th, 2022. I'm your host, Jiroc the Viking, and joining me today are my fellow Vikings, Gwen the Shield Maiden Morning Darkness, Viking Vaste, Bambi the Shield Maiden, and joining us for the first time is Viking Apollyon. Now you're probably wondering, why did they not say hello each time I announced their name like they normally do? Well, I had a little bit of a technical issue. Check this out. While we were recording, my hard drive completely filled up and stopped the recording. That was about an hour into the podcast recording with everyone. So I had to stop, make a little space, start to save the second half of the podcast on another drive. That second half was about an hour long too. Unfortunately, the first half was completely lost. I lost that data, so I don't have the wonderful interview with Apollyon, his first time on, one of the amazing builders on my Season 2 server. And so we're definitely going to have him back again. And because Morning Darkness was having some technical issues, she wasn't able to record the first half of the interview, which normally some of the regulars record their own audio on their computer and then send it to me afterwards. Well, Gwen is the only one who had a recording of her own. So you get to hear a little bit of Gwen before I fast forward all the way to the middle of the podcast. So this would have been a 2-hour podcast, but unfortunately, technical error. So you're only going to get about an hour podcast. And so let's pick up where Gwen answers the question when I asked everybody, so has anybody done anything interesting over the last week? And here's what she had to say.
Yeah, it's my summer is just filling up with so much stuff. I barely have the time to play. But on Friday last week, it was my birthday. So I went out with friends. We went to a comedy club and then had a couple of drinks and went to my favorite local bar for cocktails and a dance. And it was great fun. We ended up staying until the bar closed, and it was, I hadn't been on a proper night out in a while. So yeah, the itch has been scratched.
And now at this point, everybody starts to wish her a happy birthday. And I wish her a happy birthday month, which is what I've been doing almost every day that I talk to her.
Thank you. Thanks so much. And right now in the UK, it's been really, really hot the past week. So been trying to stay cool and did a couple of open water swims in lakes nearby. That was lovely to cool down. So went again yesterday and might go again later this week if the weather continues being this hot.
So we talk about how hot it's been lately in the different places in the world where we live, except for Vaste, who lives in the southern hemisphere, so he's freezing. And then Gwen continues talking about the heat.
Yeah, so today, I think the UK had like record temperatures up to 40 degrees Celsius. I think that's over 100 Fahrenheit, I think. Yeah, it's very hot. So where I live, it was 38 degrees. So yeah, 2 degrees cooler, but still anything over 30, 32 degrees is difficult in the UK because obviously it's not a country that's prepared for that kind of weather. So we don't have air cons. The houses are built to retain warmth for the winter. So it's just not really pleasant.
So everyone gave us a little update on what they had been up to, but unfortunately I can't remember everyone's answers. I did answer myself and mentioned that I had just gone rafting at the American River here in California. And it was about 102 degrees. And so I spent about half the day in the water, which I love, swimming or holding onto the raft and just kind of being dragged along in the water. It was pretty awesome. And as a matter of fact, This coming week, Saturday, I will also be going to another river called the Russian River up here in California as well. And this time we're going to be going tubing. So if I don't lose the data next week, maybe you'll get to hear about that live as we actually record the podcast. So to fast forward now a little bit, we get to the point where we talk about some of the videos that some of us had uploaded or streamed. And some of the videos that I had mentioned were the fact that I did a tour of the Mountain Wolves base, one of the clans on my server. They built a base on the new Season 2 server that we launched here in July. And they've got a big base going, and they've progressed pretty far in a short amount of time because they're really excited to get out there and check out all of the points of interest and the locations that we've placed around the map. We've placed over 140 hand-built locations, and so they've been really gearing up to go and tackle those. So if you want to check out that video, just head on over to my channel, and I believe I did that as a live stream video, so you have to look in the live stream section. It's pretty cool. They've got a pretty awesome base and some farms going. And then I also did a playthrough with Gaming with Christy on the Ravenheim server. That's the server that Kaizen set up, another popular YouTuber. He set up this server called Ravenheim for all of us content creators who make content for Valheim to go and play together. And Gaming with Christy and I, we got on a boat and we went swamp exploring, and that was pretty fun. And I uploaded that video, so you can check that out. And then I have a 3-hour playthrough on Season 2 No Map, which I haven't released yet, but I plan to upload here pretty soon, maybe even before, or probably actually on Saturday. So this podcast comes out, will probably come out the next day if you're interested in that. And then next, Gwen explains the videos that she got up over the last week.
Yeah, well, I've been mostly finding some time, like 2-3 hours here and there to play No Map. I've done 3 streams now, including the one you just mentioned with the playthrough we did together. In those 3 playthroughs, we managed to do the first boss. We kind of almost got lost together on the way to find the Elder. The Elder has since been found by other people playing in our group. So I think next will have to be Elder Takedown. But mostly streaming. I really, really don't have much time to play, let alone edit videos. I have, again, a big list of things that I want to publish, but just no time at all. So...
And that's pretty much where she ends that. Next up, we move on to the Valheim news segment, and I ask Gwen to tell me the exciting Valheim news that we've gotten over the last week, and here's what she said.
Well, I don't think so. It's the summer. Everyone's enjoying the outdoors. I don't think we should be expecting much news.
That's right. We didn't get any news over the last week. And to add to that, I heard that several of the Iron Gate employees had been taking vacation, well-deserved. Everybody takes vacation, takes advantage of the great weather during the summertime. But I do get asked about Valheim news a lot on my various YouTube videos. And one of the biggest questions I get asked is, when is Mistlands come out? Have they released a date for when Mistlands come out? And I ask Gwen, what is the answer that I always give people when they ask me, when is Mistlands going to be released?
1 million. 1 million. 1,000. 32.
That's right. I just answer with 1 million or some random number, which really doesn't answer the question because there is no answer. Iron Gate hasn't released a date or a timeline, and their policy is to not release that because they don't want to raise expectations. And then, if they don't meet those expectations because they need to go a little longer on development, then people get really upset and they don't want that. So they generally just wait until they release it on the public test branch for people to beta test. before they release it to everyone. And now to fast forward to the second half of the podcast, where I won't be interrupting anymore, and I will just let the recorded podcast play. I started with the question, what are some of your favorite things about my new Season 2 servers? Because everybody here on the podcast is playing on the Season 2 server. And while we did lose a couple of the answers, we're going to pick up with Vaste's answer and see what he had to say.
I really like in the POIs. I might be cheating here because I saw them beforehand being a builder, but I found the one that is on the trailer, the windmill, and being placed in the world makes all the difference.
Did you see that one on the build server? Because you were one of the builders, so of course you had the opportunity to see everybody as they were building, but did you see that one on the build server?
Yeah, I see that in the early stage, so it changed a lot since I saw that one specifically.
Yeah, it's much more interesting when they're placed in the world, in their environment, and the environment is, the path around them and the terrain and everything is made to look nice. You got the trees and all the mobs wandering around and everything. Because on our build server, we just flatten huge areas out to build things. In areas where there's nothing, like in the Mistlands. So you build this beautiful POI, but it just doesn't look right where it's at until it's in the world, right?
It's like night and day. There's two different builds completely.
Yeah. And so far, has that been your favorite point of interest that you've come across, is the windmill?
Yes. The other one I found, I had a bad experience with that. I don't like the parkour.
Oh no!
Yeah. A bit of context, I play all the time with a little bit less of 200 ping, so the highly precise parkour is painful.
Yeah, parkour. Yeah, some of them have parkour, and it's one of the things that we started to learn early on when we were building, that it probably should be made a little bit easier, and in a lot of cases, even when I was inspecting the builds before I placed them on the server, myself and Kondo, we actually made some of the parkour easier right before I blueprinted the locations. But it sounds like we should probably make them just a little bit easier.
If you ask Patras, he will tell you that it's perfectly fine. It took him like 2 tries, and I was sad. I spent hours there trying to finish it.
Yeah, but Petrez is the parkour champion. He won both of the big parkour things that we did on our server.
I'm so nervous about that part. I can't even stay on ladders when I build scaffolding. Like, I'm doomed.
Well,
that's a weird scene.
What's that?
I always shopping around and climbing everything, and I can do that parkour.
But you did do it. And that's what matters.
Eventually, right?
Eventually.
Well, good for you. You overcame your acrophobia, got all the way up there. Don't you feel a sense of accomplishment now?
No, I have the same feeling as when I was building Portalia, and I don't like to talk about that.
PTSD.
A lot of deaths.
Just for the listeners, Portalia is a portal hub that the players built on our permanent vanilla server that is built on the plains stones, or not the plains stones, around the fingers.
The Yagloth spawner.
Yeah, around the Yagloth spawner. So it's really high up. And yeah, there have been a lot of deaths falling off that thing. Well, Gwen, what about you? I know that you were on a couple times in the no map version of Season 2. What were some of your favorite things?
I think what I enjoy most in those seasonal servers is just the opportunity for a fresh start.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's always that feeling of almost kind of nostalgia, but also it's so nice to go back to basics and be a naked Viking in rags again, running around collecting flint so you can make your first tools. And I don't know, I really like that feeling. And yeah, for me, I like that fresh start. And then kind of the early stages of progression up till iron. When you start collecting iron, I find really fun. Like defeating your first trolls and then trying to find swamps to mine iron, and then all the metals and stuff, going sailing, and I don't know. There's a lot of that once you are fully geared and padded, and you've got enough resources, you've done a bit of building and stuff, there's just not often an incentive to go out and do those things again. So, or it's less challenging. Obviously, it's different on the seasonal servers because now we have all those crazy mobs and the empty biomes that have been populated. So I'm looking forward to that because I think that playthrough will last a bit longer than a normal playthrough for that reason. But yeah, my first day on season 2 no map, other than almost getting lost all the time, I got killed by a 2-star boar. And it was a 2-star. I can't remember if it was red or blue, but it was a special one. And it just I was basically being chased. I ended up in on the coast somewhere near a boar spawner. And there was just so many boars, and I was already low on health. I didn't have any food with me other than some berries or something. And I was just running around trying not to aggro or trying to get away from the normal boars. And then I ran straight into a 2-star boar, got cornered on a boulder by the coast with no escape because I had not enough stamina to go swim, and I could see turtles swimming around. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to escape through the water. That's not a good plan. And the boar just nipped me, and that was it. So that was my first, I think, encounter with the special starred animals in season 2. And then I had a fun encounter with a shark that was basically floating in the air because of lag. That was my first time seeing a shark. Yeah, a flying shark. A sharknado almost, but not moving.
Didn't you try to pet the turtles?
I did, and like everyone, I got bitten, and and then after that, I was on a crusade to kill them all for their meat. But I do like turtles, though.
We had one player that say, "Oh, I saw the beautiful turtle. I want to pet it," and then I got what?
I mean, I'm surprised that anyone else is surprised that the turtle is biting them. That's generally what turtles do when they see a tasty finger.
But they look so pretty. They're so eerie, floating around. They look like they're from a different fairy tale game, and they just float around really. Yeah, they're like Disney turtles. They're floating around super slow and stuff. You don't expect them to be to be aggressive, but at least you can outswim them. Sharks, though, those are scary. A couple of times, once I literally jumped in my seat because I was in the water trying to collect turtle meat because I had killed turtles with a bow anyway, and I was just already trying to escape or skirt around the turtles so that they wouldn't attack me. And then suddenly, I didn't see it coming behind me, but a shark just was right on my tail, and I jumped about 10 centimeters in my seat before managing to escape.
Oh, that would have been awesome. Gotta get you to set up a streamer camera so we can watch you jump out of your seat.
Yeah, that will come soon. As soon as we do that 10K reveal, then I think I'm going to try to be on stream.
Yeah. Once I hit 10K, we're going to try to do that face reveal. I might stream more myself for different things. We'll have to see how that turns out. It's a lot of effort because being a filmmaker, I want to set up all kinds of nice lighting and cameras and lighting. Backdrop and everything. So it's so much work. I can't just do it simply.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm just oh no, that means I need to keep my room and my desk clean.
Yeah. Yeah.
People have already seen my face.
Oh yeah, well you stream yourself all the time over there on Twitch. That's awesome. Well, how about you, Pauline? What as a player, what are some of the things you've enjoyed about season 2 so far?
Well, before I went on vacation, I had just signed up for the survival server, the regular survival server, and I did play with Vaste and Mactovia a little bit. I mean, maybe for I think like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got back, I had over the course of the vacation just been watching all the stuff on Discord, and I was like, man, I really want to try that no map. Like, it's just scary enough to seem. I mean, I don't know. It seemed interesting, so I went ahead and hopped over to the no map. It's I definitely like the the added difficulty of I mean, I think the first 20 minutes of playing no map, I probably hit my map button 1,000 times. Just muscle memory.
Yeah.
And
Now we know why the server crash.
because of me spamming the map key and the servers are just overloaded, probably. Yeah, it's I don't think I've truly embraced the no map yet because I'm with Voste on, like, I'm not going anywhere until I know something's not going to kill me. Like, I'm just I need better gear. Like, I'm not really good at fighting things. So the the best chance I'm going to have some really good gear. And when I joined the no map server, I got hooked up with Dipstick and Roots. They were kind enough to invite me over to their bunkhouse and get me set up, and we've just been kind of working on stuff. I think they kind of have the same mentality. Like, I don't think any of us, other than the POI here and there that are on the island where we are, we haven't even looked for any POIs yet. We were just trying to work our way through and get that end game gear. So once we do venture out, we'll have a better chance of making it back. But I like how creative everybody is with no map. It truly is amazing to see the different ways people come up with navigating around, and even with the sailing, the little things that they've found built into the game, like the cooking station. Without that, I would have been lost right from the get go.
Can you explain that?
Well, as I understand it, and I think it's working, based off of your cardinal directions, once you get those figured out, you can pull up your hammer crafting menu, and you can set your cooking station and put it in line with the cardinal direction, or not even a cardinal direction. Let's say you find one of the bosses when you go into when you find one of those. What are they? Visage? Is that what it's called? I'm not 100% sure.
Like visit?
Yeah, that's what the cool rune that tells you where the boss is. If you don't touch anything when you read that rune, your camera will slowly turn and point in the direction where the boss is. Well, then you pull up your cooking station on your hammer menu and line it up, and then just keep going that way. And if you think you got off, as long as you haven't messed with your rotational at all, you pull up your cooking station again, put one down, it will still be facing that line that you should be on. That's invaluable.
My gosh.
It's little tweaks here and there. And from what I understand, Jonathan had read some of Dipstick's season 1 no map stuff and tweaked the actual game in reference to Dipstick's.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you are destroying his system now, right?
We'll have to figure out something for season 3 because he's probably going to read Dipstick's updates. But no, it's cool. Like the interesting ways to get around and navigate stuff. And to kind of echo what Gwen said, that fresh start. Like, my favorite thing is seeing on the Valheim like subreddit when somebody gets this game for the first time and they're kind of documenting them going through, learn, like, hey, I just found this thing. What am I supposed to do with this? And I'm just so jealous. I'm like, man, what I wouldn't give back to go back and play all of the original content, like, completely new for the first time. It really is a well done game. It's just, the progression is just right. the all of it, like the crafting, the survival, the environment, the ambiance, like everything just kind of feels great. And so to be able to experience that for the first time, a seasonal server like this that forces you to start over. Most people that play this for hundreds and hundreds of hours rarely start over. So it gives you a reason to do that. So it's fun. Same thing, like running around looking for flint. Now I'm looking for flint, trying not to get murdered by a turtle.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, the fresh start. Yeah, it's always fun, even for me, because adminning so much, I don't get to play much. But yeah, I'm enjoying just running around. I've been murdered about 24 times at this little Draugr village because I confiscated one of their houses, and I tried to build a house there, but I forgot to place down a bunch of torches or something in the area to keep them from spawning. So they just they were spawning all around me and just kept murdering me till I could finally get some torches up. But it's fun, all that beginning stuff that you're trying to do. How about you, Bambi? What have you enjoyed about season 2?
Well, I talked about it a lot, of course, last week, but it is again the starting all over again, but exploring all over again. That's why I like the resource server as well. It's a whole new world to explore. And we set up base pretty close to a mountain. And when the frost caves came out, we from the Valor were really trying to get a lot of frost caves. So I now have an eye for frost caves. So I stood in the meadows. I was like, okay, there's a frost cave. There's a frost cave. And then I saw a cabin. I was like, oh my God. Could we have onion seeds? Like pretty soon. So with a fellow Valor, we were like, how do we get there? We were like, okay, we need like the fire. We need that. So we took a lot of stone and wood with us, and we built campfires all up to that cabin. And we're like, we're hoping we're not going to encounter anything. So we managed to get to the cabin, like in leather armor, not even troll yet, in our ragged tunics. And we went up and we managed to get to the cabin. There was a skeleton in it. But then we opened the chest and there were onion seeds in it.
Nice.
So lucky.
So we got the onion seeds and we rushed down as soon as we can.
Yeah.
Like, well, we need to get the hell out of here. So yeah, that's kind of stuff, and trying to do more than you actually can. Well, you can do a lot, of course, but you should be doing that. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Nice.
Or I set up a plains farm while we're still in troll armor, but we have a small patch of plains. So I sneaked out there and I built a few fences. So yeah, we could have plant, because I don't know who got it, but somebody got some barley somewhere. So we got to plant that, but every time it was so freaking scary to plant the barley over there in troll leather armor. But we managed until we encountered a 3-star Desquito white stars, and they multiply as soon as you kill them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the end of the plains farm then.
Oh.
Now we are further, but yeah. Yeah, that for me, that's a lot of fun to have. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. With the mods that we have, it has a chance to give all the different monsters and creatures in the game a different power. They don't always get a power, but they have a percentage chance to get 5 or 6 different powers. And one of them is regenerating. And it's interesting what people have done with that. Some people have found like a 2-star regenerating troll and stuck it in a hole and used it as a trainer, shoot their bow at, or I think Kondo even set one up so that he could hit its legs and train his melee weapons. Of course, Kondo figured out how to do that. And one of my funnest experiences when we were running around was when we encountered a regenerating troll on no map. We just couldn't kill it until we all had to work together as a team to focus our damage on it. Because once a few of us let off on the damage, it just out healed everybody. So that mechanic made it really fun because it forced us to all come together and work as a team. And that teamwork is, it's what being part of a community is why it's so fun. So I really love that mechanic. I hope other people are enjoying it as well.
Conversely, the 3-star chaos-infused Draugrs are not as fun. I didn't know what chaos infused meant, so the first time I died, it was being electrocuted. The second time I died was being caught on fire. I don't even remember the third, fourth, and fifth time, but yeah, I didn't know what a lot of these mobs were, and I was like, ooh, chaos infused, that sounds interesting. One shot, electrocuted. I'm like, ooh, okay, well.
Yeah, and they can run pretty fast as well.
Yeah, they're very fast.
You're like, well, I have a bow and arrow. Come on, what can happen?
It just runs over to you.
Before you can even launch the second arrow, you're dead.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the community thing comes in. You need to go find some more Vikings.
Yeah.
Everybody, we got this Draugr over here. It seems to be laying waste to us.
Because you didn't saw those splitting cultists. They are like fireworks in the middle of the mountain.
Well, cool. Yeah, we've learned a lot from creating season 2, and I have a whole big document about the notes from season 2 and things learned, things that I saw different people building in their POIs, and I thought, ooh, that's a great mechanic. And then how we can sort of create a checklist system to try to include these features in every POI or as many of them as possible, to really, increase the immersion and the adventure for each of these locations. And so that'll be exciting as we start to develop our season 3 stuff after this. But season 2 is running now. It's got respawning creatures and dungeons and everything. So if you want to play, getting on pretty much any time as a new player, all the content will be there for you. So come and join us. Just check out my website, jiroctheviking.com. So now we're going to go on and talk about some of the things we'd like to see changed or added to the game. It's super awesome game, obviously, still in early access. And right now on our seasonal server, at least we're using mods to add a little extra fun content in addition to the 140 locations that we built. And I just want to take a quick break from the show to share with you one of my sponsors, the Grimfrost, an amazing company that sells really, really cool Viking products. They have over 1,000 different modern and historical Viking products. If you're interested, you should check them out. I have a link in the description, or you can go to my website, jiroctheviking.com/Grimfrost. Now back to the show. We're going to talk about things we'd like to see changed or added, starting with morning. Is there something you'd like to see changed or added to the game?
Sure. I would really like to see an overhaul of the snap points for the roof pieces.
Yes, please. Please.
Can you explain?
I mean, I love building. I'm building a tree house, and I've got like a sort of unique shape to my roof. And there was nothing I could do to get, and it's a huge roof because it's a huge tree house. It's silly. And there was nothing I could do to get the snap points to work. Like, I spent literally an hour trying to get these snap points to match up and changing things and putting in beams to try to help the snap point along, and it just wouldn't work. So there are these like weird funky gaps, and then they offset certain whole sections of the roof, and I'm just like, so during the competition tomorrow, just don't look up. I mean, look up, but look from far away. Don't look up close, because
we're all gonna look up now tomorrow.
I know, right? It's so embarrassing.
Points subtracted, roof not perfect.
Oh God!
Or actually, maybe you'll get bonus points from me because you do a wonky roof like I do. No,
that's not fair.
So yeah, I love the new the dark wood or the tar roof, shingle roof pieces, they're just so pretty. But they seem to have more of an issue even than the normal roof pieces, and the normal roof pieces were kind of a pain. So, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, roofing is hard in Valheim.
I think we need smaller roof pieces.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, smaller roof pieces I think would help with the snapping points, because that big 2-meter piece, it's just not small enough if you start to do any kind of turns or angles in your roof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, overhaul of the roofing system in general. That's my request.
Just make it like The Sims. Push one button and you have a roof.
Well, what about you, Vaste? What's something you like to see changed or added?
I really like to build in the mountains and this other deep north with the snow, which means I'm most of the time building with stone. I would really like to have thinner stone building pieces. They take a lot of space.
Oh, did you say thinner?
Yeah, thinner.
Oh, right. Like kind of like the wood walls are much thinner, right? Is that kind of like the stone you're hoping to get?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe in some point that like bricks, now the whole system around bricks and making like a much thinner walls for the building for the buildings.
Yeah. But yeah, I wonder with the
Because-
Mistlands, they're coming with the marble pieces, but from the pictures, they still look like pretty big blocks. So
They seem bigger.
yeah, I don't know if
They
we're going to
like
get
more. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like to build with stone, but I tend to like to build with wood more myself, just because it is thinner. And then maybe use stone for just like certain accent points. But yeah, I would agree with you. I would love thinner stone pieces or thinner blocks or bricks. What about you, Gwen? What was something you'd like to see changed or added?
Well, since I've been enjoying a new playthrough of No Map, and it's great that the devs have implemented that as part of the game. Now in game, you don't need to have a mod or anything to play on No Map. You can just enter that command and have it server wide, which is great. It just got me thinking it would be cool to have more game modes like No Map built in the game. So people can do playthroughs of different kinds and like keep the game fresh because they're challenging themselves and trying different things. So, like a lot of people are doing challenges, which kind of revolved around the vanilla game. So some do the pacifist challenge or the vegetarian or vegan challenge and that kind of stuff. But if there were more game modes where maybe it's like the intensity or the difficulty of the mobs is tweaked, or the scarcity of the resources is tweaked, or maybe it's like biomes, the percentage of all biomes in the world are changed so that it's harder. For example, maybe a lot less meadows or maybe no meadows at all, and you have to basically make do with the seeds. That kind of stuff would be fun if it was something that you could do built in the vanilla game.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm curious the different game modes that there might be. I know like some other games have I think they have like very specific PvP modes and I remember 7 Days to Die and probably other games too have a whole bunch of sliders for game modes for things you can tweak in the game, like difficulty and amount of spawn and just all kinds of various things. So if you really wanted to go in, you could like slide all the sliders and really tailor the game to the kind of game you'd want to play. It would be awesome to have something like that for Valheim.
Yeah, exactly. I think those sliders are a great idea because it's something that is probably not too hard to tweak, because I'm sure it's already kind of numbers or percentages of certain things, whether it's like biome, spawns, and so on. And yeah, it just gives players a bit more control. So if they do want to challenge themselves and try something, a different experience, they can do that without having to use mods or without having to like go in the config file and change things or code things in.
Yeah. Well, like we're basically trying to do that with mods, but yeah, just having a couple of windows with some sliders to tweak stuff would be awesome. I really suspect something like that will come after their 1.0 release. At least I hope so, because that would give us so many more options. What about you, Apollyon? What would you like to see changed or added?
Well, as somebody that has a newfound love of building things, man, it would be nice to just be able to rotate the blocks and the pieces. I gotta believe that Vikings from many, 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 many hundreds of years ago were able to pick up a stone block and just kind of lay it on its side or stand it up straight or something. I mean, I gotta believe they would have mastered that skill. Yeah, it would add a whole lot more to the. It's simple. Honestly, a simple implementation of. I say that as somebody that's never developed a video game or wrote code or anything. I would assume it's simple. That could be added. That would the implementation of something, that one thing would open up the entire building mechanic in ways that I know a lot of people would love to do. I mean, a lot of modders, lot of mods to help you do that stuff. But it just seems like something that would fit, that wouldn't be game breaking. You don't want to make I think one of the draws to the building in Valheim versus other games is the simple nature of it. It's easy to pick up. The outside of the roof tiles, the snap mechanic is really, really well done. I just think it would be so nice to have that available just as a base in the game. That's all. Just mark that down as the thing that I would really like.
Well, you
be able to.
you gave me an idea for a great like little comedy sketch where you're watching one guy's running around the forest and he's looking for trees, but all he can find are fallen logs because there's a bunch of somebody had chopped them all down. And he said, I need to find a tree that hasn't been chopped down yet.
I need one standing up straight.
I need one standing up straight so I can make a pole. And then the other guy just walks over and he takes the beam that's lying on the ground and he stands it up. And the other guy says, I never thought of it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean that would be it. Again, it's a humble little request, but yeah, I think that would add a whole bunch to a building mechanic that wouldn't really change the dynamic of the building. Difficulty, I guess, is the way I would put it. It wouldn't make the building that much more difficult, but it would open up your ability to create things so much more. So I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, what about you, Bambi? If you could change or add something, what would you like to see?
Well, I like the crafting, how easy that it is now. So if you want to cook something, you just grab, when you find a piece of barley, you get a whole new ingredients and stuff like that. But I really would like to add crafting tiers. So not that recipes aren't available as soon as you pick up a piece of iron or whatever. But if you are better at do some more cooking, your crafting tier goes up and you can do make serpent stew. But if your crafting tier is really high, you could make better serpent stew.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I would like that, but don't change that if you don't have a specific crafting tier that you cannot make serpent stew, because I really like how it's all open now and everybody can do some kind of crafting as soon as they touch some kind of piece.
Right. If you find the piece, you can make it. But but a skill
that
nice could level up, you make better version of it.
That would be awesome if somebody is really good at forging swords or something like that. If his crafting tier or her crafting tier is way up high, then he or she can make better swords. That would be awesome.
Well, one of the popular ones for that, a similar request of like tiers for crafting and so on, is with the planting, farming, and planting crops. Like a lot of people do get, especially the people who do a lot of the farming, like say for a big group or just enjoy doing it. One of the big kind of grievances they have is the stamina drain is so high. And even if you eat, even if like morning darkness, you strip down naked with just a cape and eat all the stamina foods, you still have the stamina drain. So I think for that kind of stuff, it would be awesome to have, like, as you say, your tier where the more you farm, the less stamina drain you get, or the quicker you are at planting or something like that.
Or maybe get more, if you plant one onion with a seed and your crafting tier is really high, get more onions from that, maybe.
Mm.
Well, yeah, the skill system right now seems to be more tailored towards combatants. So as they level up their skill, they do more damage, but you don't have a skill for leveling up your cooking or your farming to help you get a higher yield or a more efficient food. So yeah, that would be awesome.
But again, don't take away that people that don't want to craft better, don't take away that, because then it would be like a grindy thing again. And I think a lot of us left some MMOs because of the grinding. So just keep it as it is now, but add the tiers for better outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing I'd love to see changed or added is more of a technical thing for admins. Iron Gate implemented a command called find, where you just type that in console and the name of the item you're looking for, and it would give you some coordinates to help you find it, except the coordinates it gave you aren't the exact coordinates of the item. It's an offset. So it'll say, on the x-axis, it's minus 29.7 in that direction, and maybe, positive 130 in the other direction. And that's really hard to use because the standard game doesn't even give you coordinates. You have to use a mod to have coordinates.
There's some deep admin stuff.
Yeah. And so when you type go to, you don't even know where you're at. I mean, you have to type in coordinates, get their coordinates, add and subtract all the offsets, and then use the Iron Gate's teleport command to get there. That's ridiculous. I have to do 3 calculations before I can teleport to the item, because I have to calculate the X, Y, and the Z axis.
What is the square root of?
But so when we're using mods to give us coordinates on the map and in our mini map, but all I need is when I type in find is the exact coordinate where it's at, so I can just go directly to it. I don't need to know the offset. I don't know who thought that the offset would be a good thing. Maybe there's some other use for that, but it's really frustrating for me. I was trying to find a player's tombstone the other day because he got trapped in season 2 in the Ashlands with the new content down there, and we tweaked it so that it wasn't as tough because the density of mobs was too much, so we reduced it. So I decided to help him find his tombstone, and it was really hard. I had to pull out the calculator and start doing a bunch of math. That was no fun. But I suggested it to Jonathan Smars, one of the programmers over there at Iron Gate, just today before this recording. And he responded and said, that's an easy fix. I can change that. So there you go. Us admins are going to get that, and that'll be very useful. So the change I want to see is on its way. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, we've come to the end of our podcast here, and thank you to the less than 5% who have made it this far. You have a lot of stamina, and we're going to just give you a few little things about us. And today's
give you all the yellow fork foods.
Yellow fork gang.
A lot of stamina. You didn't. Okay.
So we're going to talk about some of our bucket list items, a few of them, something we'd like to do or a place we'd like to visit. at least once in our life. Morning, do you want to start us off?
Sure, why not? So I would love to do some sort of deep sea exploration. And I can't really go diving due to a head injury, multiple head injuries that I incurred when I was a teenager. So like a submarine, like, one of those scientific exploration bubble submarines. I would love to go on a deep sea exploration tour with one of those. And you said 3?
Well, up to if you want.
Up to. All right. I would love to go on a worldwide cruise. I have to say that cruising is one of the more accessible forms of travel for me. And I want to visit all the ports of the world on a ship.
Yeah.
I know that cruise ships are kind of controversial, but they are the best form of travel for me. And then really, really something I've always wanted to do for my entire life would be to visit India and travel to multiple historic sites or what's the word? Anyway, like let's see here, the
Taj Mahal and stuff.
Well, Taj Mahal, yes, but also like archaeological sites. There's the word. Ajanta Hall and Ellora Caves. But I would need a full body mech suit if I wanted to do all of that.
Yeah.
I would also like a full body mech suit.
Just because.
Should we all put in our pre-orders now?
Yep. Add that to the list.
Because that way, because everywhere I really, really, really want to travel to has stairs.
Yeah, not very accessible.
No, it's all right.
But India is amazing. I went once, and it's just I really want to go visit again because the country's so big. There's so many different regions and things to see. But the culture shock, because there's just so much to the culture there. And again, India is not just one big culture. It's like each region, each city has its own thing and own language, own religion. Like it's insane, just the amount. It's a lot to take in, but it's wonderful.
Food. I want.
Oh yeah, food's good.
That's hot. That's hot food.
I like the heat, and I like certain levels of spicy. But
that's what I meant. Spicy food.
I like it though. I like warm temperatures. I like monsoons. I'd love to just travel India and visit the different archaeological sites and historical important sites. But that's just
Awesome. What about you, Vaste? Do you have any items on your bucket list?
Yes, I have like 2 big travel locations that I would really love to do at some point. I watch anime. I a big fan of anime. I watch a lot, and I would really like to travel around Japan.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a really cool trip to do and see all those cool big city and special occasions. Since I was really young, I always enjoyed the Greek mythology. So going to the Greek islands would be another good thing to do. And all those places and the ruins, the Pantheon, all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you like Greek, well, I guess it's not Greek, it's Roman. But if you like kind of that era, classical era, and also manga and anime, there's a great manga that was written by a friend of my mom, actually, but that actually now has like a Netflix show and everything called Termae Romae. And the premise is it's a Roman, not architect, I think he's just like an engineer or something, an inventor that finds himself transported to modern day Japan. And the whole thing is around public baths, because of course in Japan there's a big culture of public baths, and same in Rome, ancient Rome. And it's a really cool kind of different thing, and it blends those two cultures wonderfully. So here's a little manga recommendation for you. I can't rate the anime because I don't know how the anime version of it, which is I think available on Netflix, how it is, but the manga was really fun to read.
Cool, I would check it out.
Thermae Romae.
Japan is definitely Thermae Romae. I don't know, Thermae.
Yeah,
Maybe Thermae.
THERMAE.
Yeah,
I had to look it up.
Oh, I think which one it is. I won't say nothing about the anime, but I think I heard news about this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just came out this year, and there's 11 episodes.
Oh yeah, they're really short. Most of the anime are really short. So
Yeah, about a half an hour per episode. You were going to add something to that, Gwen?
Oh no, I was just going to say Japan is amazing. Food is so good. Greece as well. Definitely go to those places if you can. And if you ever make it to Japan, let me know. I'll give you a few recommendations of things to do in Tokyo.
Oh, I will really need that. Yes.
Well, what about you, Gwen? What's still on that bucket list?
So mine, that was probably something that I will attempt doing, maybe in the near future. I don't know, depending on how much money I can put aside. So I'm a big Disney fan, and I know Bambi is too, so you'll relate. I'm a big Disney fan. I was brought up on Disney, and I was lucky enough that growing up, we used to go to Disneyland Paris a lot, and I always had a lot of nostalgia and affection for Disney parks and so on, and I love roller coasters anyway. But I think what really drew me to those theme parks is I've always really liked the whole idea of being immersed in a universe, in the world, and so on. And since I heard that in Walt Disney World over in Florida and also in California, they built a whole Star Wars land, I've been a little bit obsessed with the idea to try to make it, to go and see the Star Wars land there. Because as you know, I'm a big Star Wars nerd. But also recently, this year, they opened what they call the Galactic Cruise at Walt Disney World in Florida, which is basically a 3-day experience where you're immersed in, you're going in a hotel, and it looks like a cruise that goes across the galaxy, and you're like just surrounded by Star Wars things and actors, and there's stuff to do on this cruise ship. And just the idea of spending 3 days roaming around as in a Star Wars world, I think that, I really want to do that. I'm sure, Jiroc, you know what I'm talking about, because I'm sure you've eyed it up as well. But then looked at the price and went,
It is expensive.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm torn. I really want to do it. Initially, I was like, I really want to plan it for my 30th birthday as a bit of a bucket list item. But I don't know. It feels like for that money, I could also go and explore another country or something. So I don't know. I will consider it. I really want to do it. But yeah, other than that, like traveling and stuff, maybe next summer I will try to plan a trip across Scandinavia to actually see some of the big Viking museums they have and some of the Viking festivals, because they do a great job of cultivating and maintaining a lot of their heritage. So a lot of the archaeological sites you can visit, and they have great museums and living history museums and so on. And as you know, I'm a big nerd for that kind of stuff as well. So, and I've always wanted to visit more of Scandinavia. I've only ever made it to Copenhagen, and that's the furthest north I've been, other than Iceland. But I've never been to Sweden. I've never been to Norway. And there's just so much to see. So yeah, that maybe I might try to do that next year. Other than that, kind of in the bucket list experiences, I've always wanted to try paragliding, maybe even skydiving. But yeah, just the idea of being able to fly is really exciting. I would love to do paragliding, but have to find a good spot for it. You want it to be somewhere where you can actually enjoy enjoy the sights and take it all in.
When I was in the south part of Germany a couple of years ago, we were down by the Alps, and we were up visiting the sites up there, and we took one of those lifts, the gondolas up really high up, and they were paragliding off of there, and I was so jealous because it was so majestic looking up there. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Exactly. There's loads of like paragliding experiences around where I live, but it's just flat.
Yeah.
It's just flat and it's fields. So it's like, I want to do it in mountains or somewhere where like it's really actually, breathtaking and exciting. I'm sure it will be really fun anyway, but
Yeah, and
might as well go for the big sites.
I'll never jump out of a plane unless it's going to crash.
I don't know. It's one of these things
Good
where you
rule to
just.
have.
I mean, just
I'm really good
just
at-
for me, it's my general rule.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is the plane working? Cool, I'm going to stay on the plane.
I think I will crash with the plane before jumping.
Oh, you'd be too
I
afraid
like that rule.
to even jump with a parachute, huh?
Yeah, no. I prefer falling inside the ship, inside the plane. Yeah.
Just close your eyes.
Jiroc, that's gonna be my new rule as well.
Yeah. It seems like a reasonable rule, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's like, hey, the car's moving. I don't need to jump out of it.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I'll just wait till it
Everything's
comes
working
to a
like it
complete
should.
stop. Same with the plane. Just
I love
teasing.
it.
What about you, Apollyon? Anything on your bucket list?
I feel like I'm so far behind. I just got a passport. So everybody's visited all these amazing places in
There's
their
a lot
lives.
of amazing places in the U.S. too, though.
Yeah. I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen some of them. But no, I've always wanted to go to Germany and see my favorite club team, Bayern Munich, play a match. Like I just think that would be great. Preferably while Lewandowski is still playing. That'd be awesome.
Is there a season? Are they playing during September, October time?
You had the same thought as me, Jiroc.
Of course.
Yep.
You have to go
Munich.
you have to go to Oktoberfest. It is one of the most amazing festivals I have ever been to in my life.
Well, I will add that to the trip. Absolutely.
But you're talking about soccer right now, right?
Yes.
No, we're talking about beer. We're talking about beer. Sorry.
You're talking about beer. Apollyon is talking about something else.
Well. That brings me to my next thing, which was I've always kind of wanted. I mean, it's a bucket list thing, but I've always been fascinated with the idea of having a little tiki hut bar, like on the beach somewhere, and just that's just my life. Just wearing some Panama Jack shirts, hanging out with a big scruffy beard, and serve drinks to tourists and rent them snorkels, and that's just my day. Like that, I think it doesn't really get more laid back than that. I think I mentioned that to my girlfriend once. She goes, "Wait a second, one of your bucket list things is to have a job." I was like, no, you're missing the point. No, I would own the place. Other people would do the stuff. I would just be the guy that sits off to the side. When they come up, they're like, "Oh, hey, there's Apollyon. Look at that. How's it going?" I'm like, "It's a beautiful day. Have some drinks with some umbrellas. Go look at the dolphins, whatever." And that would just be my whole life. Like, I think that would be a heck of a way to check out the latter part of my life. Just hanging out in the sun, having fancy drinks, meeting tourists, saying hi. And I think that would be fun. I have very small goals.
No,
then I want to add something now. I want to go when he's in the beach and take that drink.
Yeah, with Apollyon. We're all gonna come to your place and drink with you.
Just
absolutely.
Any day I can wear flip-flops to work, it's going to be a good day.
Now that's a philosophy of life that I need.
What about you, Bambi? Bucket list items.
Yeah, well, the first thing, that's going to be a bit more serious. Taking my family to see the real Sri Lanka I have seen when it's safe again. Yeah. I have spent some time over there volunteering with in an orphanage with tsunami victims.
Yeah.
And I spent time with the locals there, and that was so amazing. Those people are so amazing. they really want to help you, even if they can't. If you ask them directions and they don't know where you need to go, they will even give you directions. So it's not always real helpful, but yeah, they are so amazing. And the country is so, so beautiful. So yeah, that's a real thing I want to do to give my family. And of course, I want to see the real Hogwarts in real life.
Where's that?
Sometime. Oh, that's in England, if I'm not mistaken.
But what's the building? Is it one of the? Because I know the Great Hall, the Feast Hall, is I think filmed in one of the Oxford universities, maybe. But the actual building, I'm not sure about.
I think it was Cambridge. The outside.
Cambridge?
It was, yeah.
Ah. Well, let me know, Bambi. If you come over, I'll come with you, and we'll do our nerdy Harry Potter tour together.
It's in Edinburgh.
Oh, Edinburgh. Yeah. Oh, wait. I'll have to look it up because I don't remember seeing any Hogwarts-like building.
And Alnwick Castle as well.
Oh, the Edinburgh Castle.
So yeah, you and me are gonna have a tour. And yeah, of course, the last one is visit. Well, I would love to visit the Shire in New Zealand, but all the Lord of the Rings locations, I would love to see them in New Zealand.
That's actually a really fun place to go. I've actually gone there, and you can actually have a drink in the Green Dragon.
Oh, you can? Oh my god! I love the Hobbits, so I want to see the Shire.
It's really neat, and it's really neat some of the filmmaking tricks that they use for the different places. It's a lot of fun. I'll send you some pictures, Bambi.
Oh yeah, send me some pictures.
Oh no!
So yeah, I really want to see that because for me, like the whole, you all know I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, but Sam, the Hobbit Samwise, that's the true hero of the story for me. So yeah, I really love hobbits. I want to see the Shire.
Well, awesome. Pretty much everything that you guys have said are things that I would love to do too. I don't think I have done, except for Germany, that Apollyon wants to do. I don't think I've done many, although I have been to the Hogwarts and Universal Studios here in California, and that was awesome.
So jealous.
Yeah. But for me, I think I mentioned it before. I really would love to go to Machu Picchu, but not just take the tourist bus up, to actually do the big 3 or 4 day hike through all the old ruins and, get to kind of experience the countryside and whatnot. I was going to try to plan it this year, but the agency I was working with fell through. So I need to reschedule for next year because it's going to come up too soon. The rainy season starts in October. So they really suggest not to do the trip during the rainy season. So I'll have to wait till next year. But I do want to hit up all the Sweden and all the European countries up there that, have, historical sites for, Nordic culture and Viking culture and stuff like that. That would be super awesome. So a tour around all of Europe. Like in Europe, I've only been to Germany, France, and then all of the UK we visited up there. But I would love to see some more of it. And it seems like with this great community that we have here and so many different people from different places in Europe and other parts of the world, I would love to go up there and visit those places. And if anybody is available, maybe stop by and have a drink with them.
Well, always, because not a lot of people know this, but the Netherlands have a lot of Viking history as well.
Yeah, especially in the north of the Netherlands, right?
Yes, where I live.
And the north of Germany as well, all the way up north where it's bordering with Denmark as well. They have quite a few sites. There are a few Viking festivals in the north of Germany too that I spotted. So yeah, Jiroc, we'll have to plan that for some time, maybe next year.
Yeah.
And I'll sew you a proper Viking tunic. So we can go both dressed up properly.
Yeah, I do have like a shopping cart I have yet to pull the trigger on over at my sponsor, the Grimfrost, to purchase a bunch of their clothing because they seem like they do it fairly authentically. So at some point, I'll have to pull the trigger on that. Well, cool. It's been a lot of fun, everyone. I think that's going to do it for this week. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
As always, it's a pleasure.
That's it for now. Have fun out there.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Podheim, Jiroc's Valheim podcast. We have new episodes coming out every Friday, and if you enjoyed listening, please support us by subscribing to the podcast on your favorite platform and leave us a rating and a review to help more Vikings find us. We also have a Patreon with perks for supporters like behind-the-scenes discussions, exclusive content, and segments that are edited out of the main podcast. And if you'd like to join our friendly Discord community, we have more than 1,000 people there. Just go to discord.gg/Jiroc the Viking. If you'd like to play on my Valheim servers, just go to my website at jiroctheviking.com and submit an application. I'd like to give a huge shout out to my supporters, some of them on Patreon, the YouTube membership, and the ones who help boost our Discord server. Your support means the world to me and inspires me to make more videos, as well as run a community Discord and multiple Valheim gaming servers. If you enjoy my videos and would like to support my work, join our friendly Discord community and Valheim servers. Links can be found in the description below. Skål!